What do clouds have to do with hacking reality? Well, actually, everything. It was only when I learned how clouds work that I discovered the hidden mechanism to hack reality, and that's what you're going to learn today. Here's how it works. The prerequisite says that you need to reach 100% of condensation in order to precipitate or hack reality. The cloud does this through steam and vapor, and then it precipitates water down and we see it. Reality hacking works the same way. And instead of water, you do it through your consciousness. You have to imprint the feeling of the reality you want, not the way that you expect. It's not a daily practice where you just sit and meditate and you feel you're not really using the mechanism the right way. The mechanism explains that you have to create such a deep level of joy in your body, in your feeling, in your consciousness, until you reach 100% of condensation. And then the manifestation and the reality hacking happens first and foremost within yourself. And when you reach that ceiling and you break it, and you are feeling and intensifying it so much that outer reality seems to have no power over you, that you start laughing and crying uncontrollably because all the past problems, they stop having any power. And you realize in that moment that you have condensated to the 100% your consciousness, and that now, as part of the law, just the same way that the cloud goes from condensation to precipitation, now your consciousness is 100% condensated, and it will precipitate and change reality. It is very important that you develop unwavering confidence in this mechanism. This is why it works. Most people are teaching you the how and the techniques and the tactics. I'm teaching you the principle and the why behind why it works. If you don't develop unwavering faith in the mechanism to hack reality, then you will always be doubting yourself. You will always be asking yourself, why aren't my manifestations coming? Why aren't the things that I am working so hard to get, why aren't they showing up in my reality? Or I get them and then I lose them, or they get taken away from me. That is a clear sign that you still haven't reached this 100% level of condensation. You do this through the feeling of joy. Let me give you a real life example. I want to be rich. I want to feel rich even before I am, for example. What I'm gonna do is close my eyes and go into this state of consciousness where you're away from the problems, away from the current limitations of your reality. And you need to be persistent, disciplined, and have unwavering confidence to feel again and again the joy of having the thing. And instead of doing it as a daily practice where you feel maybe 20, 30, 40% of it and then you feel amazing, but then nothing changes, you need to keep at it and you need to keep intensifying it, which is why it's so important that you choose something that you truly desire. And then you keep on intensifying it until you reach this tipping point where the old consciousness will try to pull you back down. So you're going up. You're creating the condensation of the cloud by feeling joy of your reality. You're starting to hack reality. But there is this ceiling that you reach, and this ceiling, the old you, the old problems will try to pull you down in frequency, will pull you down to earth. But what you're trying to get into is a new heaven. Is here, it's heaven. And in this moment, you need to stop placing your attention on these intruders that want to bring you down to the current problems and the current reality. And in order for you to hack it, you need to break this ceiling. And the way that you do it is continue to feel with faith and with intensification the joy of having your current reality until you reach a point where the joy that you're feeling in your body, remember, and in your cells and in your physiology, reach 100% of condensation. And you will know that you've reached this point because your entire body, your entire cells, like every part of your being becomes like one big feeling of unified joy. And now you've felt it, and you've reprogrammed your physiology, your nervous system, even your subconscious mind and your neural pathways to accept the new reality at the deepest level. That's what happens when you break the ceiling. And once that happens, you start to laugh uncontrollably because you know that it's a reality. It doesn't matter what the outer reality feels. It says, you're no longer feeling rich. You are rich because your consciousness and the thing that you desired have become one now in consciousness. And you have fulfilled this prerequisite. That's why a lot of the times people reach 98, 97% of the prerequisite, and they wonder, why am I not reaching the level of precipitation? Why isn't my reality being changed? Or why can't I hack it? It's because you haven't fully impressed in your consciousness the expression that you want to see in the world. Impressions come first, expressions come second. This is the law. The law of consciousness says consciousness first, reality second. And this is how you do it. So you need to impress through this joy, this feeling, your current reality, and you need to break that ceiling that most people will never break, so you can actually go to heaven and receive, because you can receive nothing unless it is given to you from heaven, which is that state of joy where your inner reality is more real than the outer reality. And as you go through that process of acceptance, in your mind's eye, you see this flash where reality has already shifted. And so you know the end of the movie. And when you go back to your body and you open your eyes, reality might seem like nothing has changed, but you're walking with this new reality inside of you. You know you've hacked the code. You know you've gone back to the source because you've come back to you. And as you walk day in and day out, you have this unwavering peace, this relaxation, this naturalness, this coolness, this effortlessness, this ease, that everything is just happening now in a way automatically. And all you have to do is be the main character of the movie and see the entire plot unfold. And you'll be naturally grateful that you know the truth. I am that I am. You now understand that reality has been hacked within your consciousness, and as part of the immutable law, it will show up in your reality. This is the most important point, guys. You can't just forget about it. You have to develop unwavering faith in this law, in this mechanism to hack reality. If you impress it 100% in your consciousness, it is a fact and an immutable law that it will be expressed in your reality. Because all you did really here in the cloud condensation step is you raised your levels of consciousness. Not sure why this is not working. You raised your levels of consciousness to a new level of consciousness, and you stayed there and you intensified it to the point where you became one with that state of consciousness, with that new state of being, with that new feeling. And that new state of consciousness is the new heaven. And because you've reached heaven, you will now manifest a new earth. That is how you hack reality.